All right, Buddy V here. Now, we have a special treat for you because we got a 2-for-1 special in this video. We have Tiger Dragon.
What up? What up? Hello, fight fans. How you doing?
All right, excellent. And we have the real Lion, but you're going to see him in just a minute. So, to start off this first segment, because it's more like a fighter and a trainer kind of a duo thing. So, over here, we're going to start with the trainer, of course, putting in all the work, the effort, the knowledge. What made you want to kind of start training people?
Well, I first started training myself really when I was about 16, 17. Ever since I was a kid, I've always liked martial arts. I've always liked the way it looked, the way it sounded. It sounds cool, with all the hush, hush, all that. Yeah. But also, I just like the competitive aspect of it. I think that the competition is just an important part of my life. I used to play soccer as a kid, and I didn't want to just play soccer how it is kind of stereotypically played in the United States, where it's kind of played soft. I wanted to play hard. I wanted to kind of not really fight, but I wanted to play aggressive. So, and eventually I got kind of bored of that with soccer, and when I got into MMA, I could finally release that. And when I got to teach the technical side of it, I found I was way better at teaching it than really competing at it somehow. So, yeah, I guess.
Got that fighter IQ.
Yeah, I guess I was more in tune with my IQ than my athletic ability, I guess I'd say. Yeah.
Fair enough. So, for the second question is, while training, is there any certain aspect that you enjoy a little bit more, whether it's drilling, doing some pad work, technique, conditioning?
I'm not gonna lie. If I had to really, really be honest with myself, I think I'm probably a bit over the top with technical stuff, because I have noticed over the years that I've been coaching, I like to over-explain things. I like to try and make it as simple as possible. And when you try to make something as simple as possible, you really break it down too much. And that's a curse of being a coach.
Fair enough. So, do you have like a specific style that you base your training off of, or do you kind of just help people where they're weak at and just try to make them overall better as a fighter, or?
I don't really look for strengths or weaknesses. I can identify them, but I really try to find the best technique that anyone is using, really. And if that technique can be applied to a certain body type, then yeah, I can teach that. But really, I try to just teach the best technical ability, technique. The most simple technique. Overall fundamentals. I think that's the most important about combat sports and martial arts in general. You're always trying to stay, you want to try to stay as simple as possible. As simple as possible. The more complicated you get into martial arts, the harder it is to adapt and absorb that information.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, you said how before you were a fighter and you explored martial arts. Do you feel being a fighter, being in the cage, that makes you a better trainer because you can see both sides of it?
Well, so far as of this interview, I've only had one real fight, but so far. So from what I've learned is what was that second part of the question again?
Do you feel like it improves you as like a trainer or as a coach?
Yes, absolutely. The more experience I get, whether it's sparring or actually being in the ring, I feel like I take more and more information away from that experience. And that's really what I look for as a coach. Like I said, I like the aspect of competition. You always get the fun, exciting anxiousness. You get all the feelings and anxieties and emotions out of it. But what I also really like is the long journey of like learning. I really like that. There's something about that I get addicted to. I get addicted to information, I guess I could say. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then I was curious, is there like any fighter or specific fighters that you watch you would recommend people to kind of check out to maybe learn something from?
Well, I definitely recommend Israel Adesanya. I definitely recommend Israel Adesanya. I really like Mike Tyson. Who doesn't like Mike Tyson?
Right.
Tyson Fury. Really love Tyson Fury. Not just because of the attitude. Everyone loves the attitude of Tyson Fury, but the boxing style. It's very fluid, adaptive. That's the best part about a heavyweight. If you can be adaptive to a flurry of punches, to big punches like we've seen Tyson Fury, and also adapting to the aspect of getting knocked out and then bringing yourself back up off the floor. Like that's special in not just boxing, but in like competition, right? To get back up like that, and that's something I really like to study, because you can't really teach that, but you can push it,
Yeah. So then I'll let you go in a second. Do you have any words for people that are up and coming fighters, maybe want to fight, or just for people that are going to see this video?
If I had any advice, repetition. If there's anything I definitely learned from learning martial arts is that you're not going to learn one thing once and get it the first time. Okay, you're going to have to fail a lot. Failure is success in martial arts. That's the best part about it. Okay, I currently work in a martial arts gym, and I constantly get told, sorry, I'm sorry, I'm not doing better, and I find it odd, but at the same time I understand, because it's a difficult thing to do. You're moving your body in a way that people don't really normally do. You're fighting, but it's all about pushing past that hard part of it and learning. Keep on going. It's the repetition, like I said, repetition. Then eventually it's just memory. That's the best part about it. You don't have to think about it, right?
Heck yeah. Well, I'll let you go, and I appreciate your time. Thank you very much, Mr. Tiger Dragon.
Thank you very much.
All right, we're here with the second part of this interview. Over here we have the real lion.
Let's go.
So, like I said, we're doing a little bit of a trainer and a fighter aspect. While he has some training experience too when he does train, he's looking to become one of the most badass fighters known all across the world, not just in the nation. So you better keep your eyes peeled. So I'll kind of start out with the first question, like I asked Tiger Dragon. What made you want to kind of get into training other people?
I'd say just getting the community together, and just really helping the younger generation learn the aspect of respect and being loyal to something, being dedicated to something, and just learning that, a dream is not just a dream, it's something that you can actually achieve and something that you can actually work towards.
Exactly.
And so that's one of my biggest things that got me into it.
Hell yeah, I like that answer. And then I asked him before that when training, do you prefer bag work, this and that? Well, instead of you training as a fighter, when you train, is there a specific style of training or a specific part of training that you enjoy a little bit more? Whether it's weights, strength, conditioning?
Rather than being like a typical boxer and saying, oh, I love hitting the bag hard, actually it's more about, the mental work, actually. I actually enjoy, a day to myself where I just kind of listen to music more and kind of just, ease my mind a little bit, get away from all the anxiety and the pressure that could be put against me. Because, when it comes down to the fight day and you have a little bit of that anxiety left in you, it could literally stiffen up your body and ruin the whole thing,
Yeah.
So really just taking a day and stepping back from the training and finding where my head's at and where my mental space is at, just so I can keep everything clear for a fight day.
Heck yeah, absolutely. Take notes. So, one of the things I was going to ask is, since, you have plans to possibly go pro, when you start thinking about the future, where do you see yourself? And do you see yourself as a future champion?
Yeah, I definitely see myself climbing the ranks in either USA Boxing. I kind of like to picture my career based off of something like Deontay Wilder, right? Where a lot of these kids they've been fighting in USA Boxing for years since they were young. And I am coming into it a little later. I'm starting in, if I do join USA Boxing, I'd be starting in the elite category with the growing men, And I look at that as a motivation for me being the one who started a little later, so I got to work a little harder, and that's my motivation. I see myself climbing the ranks of USA Boxing, and if I don't make it to USA Boxing, then I see myself definitely on the big stage with Showtime or Top Rank.
Yeah, heck yeah. And since we're talking about pros, is there a specific, amateur pro fighter, anyone that you would like to fight personally? You think it'd give you a good challenge that you could get?
Yeah, speaking of USA Boxing, Olympic Boxing, as a respectful call out, I see myself definitely going against somebody as, like, the Torres man himself, and it's because I respect his style. I respect everything about him. He's humble, he's respectful, and not only that, he's champ worthy. And when somebody's champ worthy, that's somebody I want to go against.
Heck yeah. Remember, it's respectful, so no trash talking. No. Now, do you have any words of advice to any fighters out there? Because obviously, having been establishing yourself and really understanding your fight style and being able, because not many people that come into fighting at a later age could ever even think about going pro or any sort of USA. But obviously, like you said, you're making these dreams come true. Do you have any sort of advice for people?
Yeah, I say separate the difference between being cocky and being confident. This is one of the sports where you really got to believe in yourself. You really got to know how good of a fighter you are. So have that confidence, but use that confidence in a humble way, because that's where it's going to take you to the highest level.
Heck yeah. And then before I let you go, keep it nice and simple. I'm not going to take up too much of his time. Do you have any social media or anything you want to shout out?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram at The Real Lion Cortez, and that's where I'm most active. You can stay tuned with my fight career. You can stay tuned with any of the training that I've been going through, and maybe a future fight with that Torres man I've been talking about.
He's going to take this snippet and put it on the story. Yeah.
Let's go.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Have a good one. And, you guys saw it here first, so when he's blowing up, you know who got the interview.
Oh, yeah.
Peace out. All right, so before I let everything go, I got to ask Tiger Dragon himself, what are some of your social medias that people can find you at?
All right, you can find me on Instagram at IsaiahMJ_MMA, and you'll just find training videos, breakdowns, everything combat sports related, really. If you want to search me up and ask me to do some training, I got cheap rates. It's pretty easy to train with me. All right, it doesn't need to be too hard. All right, just communicate. Let's get training. Right,
shoot DM.